It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 for another Monday night Shoe Shine special. Joining me all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa, homie?
All you gotta do is take that Giants hat off and give you a Philadelphia Flyers hat.
Drew, it's finally upon me right here, bro. I moved to Las Vegas. I thought this would be an epic year to move to Las Vegas. And F1, that's literally ruined everybody's life in Las Vegas, is going to happen this Friday night. And they say that it might even rain. And they say that if it rains, no umbrellas are allowed in the stands. Now, that's not a problem because your boy Dave don't got tickets because they're $2,400 for bleacher seats to see the F1 zoom on by the Las Vegas Strip. But my boy Fonzie, shout out to Fonzie619, did hit me up today. He absolutely hit me up and he said, are you going Thursday night to see Skakur Stevenson? Tickets are $25. How the fuck are tickets $25 for a fight that features not only a title fight, 2 title fights? And I told him, bro, if you know how I can get from work at 5 o'clock to the T-Mobile Arena in time to catch Navarrete fight, then I might be interested. But the fact is, as far as I know, Drew, the streets are going to be closed at 5 o'clock, the Las Vegas Strip at 5 p.m. Thursday night. I don't know. I guess it could take me 2 hours to walk there from my house. I guess it's like 5 miles to T-Mobile. I guess I can walk it, right? Shout out to everybody joining us in the room. Drew, Evo, and I for a Monday night special week, because this week is F1 Formula Race Week, and they was out today doing a media day, and I didn't even know, man, or I would have asked for some time off to go watch Skakur Stevenson and De Los Santos work out in front of the T-Mobile Arena. So if you're just joining us, I'm not going. But I will be watching this fight Thursday night and watching some Thursday night football. ESPN says they're going to start the main event, the main televised card, after Thursday night football. So really, everybody there's just got to wait until that football game is over before the rest of America gets to tune in and watch the activities. Now, Drew, how about you just move to Las Vegas and work for road construction crews here, bro?
I couldn't.
Have you thought about it?
I couldn't work for this hot ass rapper.
Because they're laying asphalt for 10 years. That's the plan. They're going to do asphalt 24/7 for 10 years in Las Vegas for the Formula One.
I don't know.
That's job security.
Nah. If I would ever move to Vegas, I would find a better career.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. Nando's in the room. Ryan, Chicanos and City Syndicate. Saludos, folks. Let everybody know that we're live. Of course, this week is special. We got a Thursday night main event. I think, you know what? Is anybody else doing a fight party? Dave only pays to see Sorto live. Bro, I almost didn't make that fight. This is why I'm not going, because on a Saturday, it took me 2 hours to get to the Strip in an Uber, you know? And I felt like so bad. I never tipped an Uber driver so much money. I literally never have. And then that Uber ride home was another like disaster. I had to walk like, I don't know how many casinos. You guys know, you've been to Vegas. When I say you got to walk from Cosmopolitan to Palazzo, that's not exactly a quick walk to catch a cab. That's how fucked up shit was a few weeks ago. Pardon my French. So that's right, Ryan. We do have an ESPN card out of Quebec or Montreal or Canada, and one that I was reading the story on the main event guy, who has a really, really interesting story. So I'm going to be catching that Tuesday night fight. Wednesday night, Drew, we're going to do our football show. Of course, we did the power rankings last week, and there was a ton of upsets. Well, some very important key upsets now, and I'm excited to hear Drew's power rankings. I know you guys are too, and I know some of you that have been participating in our football picks are eager to share your upset picks if you got them right this week. So make sure you tune in for that. Sonteo Medio, que onda, vato? Excited to have you here. Drew, let's start off with this hot topic. Let's talk Philadelphia boxing, bro, because we got some big news on that tip, man. Let's get off our chest. As much as I like Boots Ennis and have wanted to see him earn that title. The IBF did something extremely interesting this week, Drew. The IBF made Boots Ennis the legitimate 147-pound champion via whatever they call it, email, whatever way they notified him, whether it was a phone call or not. Everyone's going around using the email champ term. They gave him the title. And Bud Crawford's team, man, if they fucking sound sour. But they had no intention. Bomac, even in the interviews, pretty much sounds like they had no intention to defend the undisputed title or the 147-pound title. They had no intention. Too much high risk, low reward. They even said he does not have a name to belong on the same stage as Bud Crawford. But I got to ask Drew and the chat, is this the way you wanted him to earn that championship? Because personally, for me, I'm not too happy about it. I would have preferred to see the IBF say it's vacant. And Boots, you're number one, so you get the fight. And number two, you get the fight. Winner gets the belt.
You know what? I had this little debate over the weekend on Twitter, and people probably saw it in here with the so-called super insider, Rich Glazer, and everything. When he blung up calling Boots an email champion and everything, and I just looked at it, and I just look at it like this, if you're going to call Boots an email champion, then I think you had to call Tim Tszyu an email champion too, because he was also elevated to full champion. And then he brings up the point that, well, Tim Tszyu fought 3 times as interim champion. And I brought up the point, Boots fought more than 3 times as interim champion. He's been the mandatory for nearly 2 years. And longer than Tszyu's been Charlo's mandatory. So, but he kept on saying apple and oranges at the end. Trying to act like smart. But every time he would say a little debate and he would say a little argument, I will bring it back to him. I'm like, this dude. There are a lot of email champions in the sport. It started with Triple G when he was elevated to full champion. Anastali Love was elevated to full WBA champion when Triple G vacated all his belts just recently. Jamal Charlo was elevated to the WBC full champion when Canelo became franchise champion. Devin Haney was elevated to WBC champion when Loma was declared franchise champion. I'm saying this. Boots defended the interim title more than 3 times. If you're going to call him an email champion, you got to call everybody that got elevated the email champion. And the thing about it is, he tried to bring a point. Tim Tszyu was fighting 3 years. Suppose the dude has a vendetta against guys that are inactive that fight once a year, I guess, or the PBC way. I understand where he's coming from, but at the end of the day, man, Rick, you're fucking wrong about it. I debated you. I fucking said apple and oranges as a reply to you after I said my last point. And tell you the truth, Rich, you went fucking MIA. I made you go MIA because you have no fucking argument. Now go get me my Johnny cakes, apples and oranges. The dude says he knows everything about boxing and everything. Yeah, you got some shit right, Rich. But at the end of the day, man, you are totally fucking wrong about this. If you were a real insider, then you will know that this is the right way. Hey, I didn't like the way that it came about because Terence Crawford barely held the belt for under 6 months and everything. But let's look at it like this. Terence Crawford had no desire to fight Boots. Did not want to defend against Bruce Hennis. He had the desire to move up and weight. They asked him. They said, hey, I'm probably going to move up and weight. So the IBF made a move, stripped him of his belt, so and everything. Even though when was the last time they ordered an IBF mandatory in the welterweight division? 2018. And guess who was the mandatory at that time? Errol Spence. And so I'm just looking at it like this. Stanionis is probably going to be elevated to WBA 4 champion when that belt gets taken off of Crawford if he moves up. And he's going to become an email champion. So, Rick, if you're watching this, I know you got friends that my man Dave knows and that you're cool, you're on this show and everything, man. You're wrong. You're wrong. Rick, and it's okay to be wrong sometimes, man. I'm wrong sometimes. Dave's wrong sometimes. We all can be wrong sometimes, Dave. Rich. But god damn, get your facts straight. This is one of the oldest facts in the book and everything. And you have a vendetta against certain fucking type of fighters and everything. Do you realize Tim Tszú's a PBC fighter also? And I know people that are on Tim Tszú's dick is going to be disappointed that I'm saying that he's an email champion, but it's fucking facts. He's an email champion too. And get over it, guys. At the end of the day, there's a lot of email champions now, and it's not going to be the last email champion. And I think, to tell you the truth, he deserved it. And I'm going to tell you why he deserved it. He defended the interim title, so you can't blame Boots for this. You blame the IBF. But tell you the truth, they made the right call.
Okay.
They made the right call to the way of the situation was. Should they let Terrence hold it for a little bit longer? Yes. But at the end of the day, if he had no desire to defend the belt against him, and he's had a desire to move up to 154, strip him, get it over with, give him elevate Boots. He's probably going to fight Mario Barrios as his first defense. As a 4-time
I'm not
champion.
mad at that fight. Mario Barrios put on a great performance recently here. So. Chicano Prophet says, so is he an email champion or not, Drew? And I think Drew answered that. He is, but tell you the truth, he deserves it. He deserved it. All right. Which is probably the same argument they'll throw back at you and say Tim Tszú and Devin Haney and all these other guys. Well, they deserved it too. But let's see here. Sin City Syndicate says, boxing is dead, and I'm okay with fighters looking for money first, and once they get it, are not the same. Boxing is a no health guarantee sport. Ain't that the truth? All right. Boss of nosebleeds, says Chicano Prophet. Drew, for Bud Crawford, listen, I don't think he really cares. I mean, it'd be nice to say that he's still the undisputed, and has all 4 titles, welterweight champion. But at the end of the day, from what I'm reading from Bomac's team, the accolades already been achieved. Now he's been a 2-time undisputed 2-division weight champion. He's already accomplished that. And at this point in his career, he really is over it, only chasing the big money fights. And at 35 years old, as Sin City Syndicate just said, it's a no health guarantee sport. Just chase the big dollar bag. Just chase the bag. I ain't tripping. But I am excited at the prospect of Boots defending this title now that there's a secondary champion and people who can't get to Terrence Crawford because their names aren't big enough. Well, I'm excited to see Boots defend it against Stanionis, Mario Barrios, or anybody that IBF has in the top 5.
But you know what, Dave? You become undisputed champion. Most of the time, they don't keep the belts. They move on to bigger and better things. They don't want to pay the sanctioning body fees. They achieve their goal to come undisputed.
We've seen that with Josh Taylor, who was undisputed at 140 and said, I've got all these titles, but I can't even afford to keep them all because of the sanctioning fees. I don't get paid the Canelo paydays that some of these undisputed champs are getting paid. So you're very right. Now, I got to ask the chat. Could you guys foreseeably see Canelo Alvarez in 2024? The 2023 is almost over. Can you guys see a situation where Canelo says, I'm not defending that title and I can give a rat's ass about that title, So the hell with it. You guys can have it. Can you guys see somebody like David Morrell being elevated to a full WBA champion? Because David Morrell does have the secondary title, right? Let's say they force him. Let's say the WBA says, Canelo, you have to fight him. We're talking like 2024. We're ordering a purse. You got to fight him. Does anybody here think Canelo will actually take, if he only fights twice next year, that he'll take up a fight with the dangerous David Morrell? I don't think
You gotta
so.
look at it.
I
You
don't
gotta
think
look
so.
at it like this. If he's in like a limbo right now, that if he doesn't fight the winner of Andre versus Benavidez next, that's gonna be a big issue. And then if he decides to vacate, people are gonna look at it. Dude don't care about like what's your point, dude? You just ducked the fight and everything. And people are saying, oh, he's moving up and everything. Dude, in my opinion, you didn't clean out the division. You beat the champions, but you didn't clean out the division. And this is more legacy now. You're making the money. You already got the money already made. And you got the big money coming in anyway with these next fights. You gotta you gotta avoid legacy now, because if you don't fight the winner of this fight, this is gonna be a big asterisk when it comes to Canelo's legacy. That he was the first Mexican undisputed champion, the first undisputed super middleweight champion, 5 division champion, but known for an asterisk, possibly ducking David Benavidez or Demetrius Andre.
Drew, I appreciate the sense of humor our chat has. It may be a small chat, but I think the sense of humor in here is always great. Ruli Ramundo says, I can see him eating more beef and timing it right. And Sin City Syndicate says, Canelo will fight a bum per usual, Cinco de Mayo, and then make Morrell fight Benavidez to get him the fight in September. That'd be funny, but I could totally see that. And in fact, that's actually the way I think boxing should work. You should pit number 2 and 3 against each other to fight number 1. You really should. I would love to see David Morrell and David Benavidez fight each other for a chance at Canelo. I think that in the perfect world, if there was only one sanctioning body, that's the way it should be. 2 and 3 should always fight to see who gets the chance to fight the champion.
It's like this. The WBA is probably going to order David Morrell and Canelo Alvarez next year. And they got because at the end of the day, they're trying to get rid of the Reggie belts. Trying to get rid of the Reggie belt. All divisions.
I think all the sanctioning bodies made a huge mistake. Yes, they wanted to collect more fees, but they've created a more giant mess, whether it's the WBA, WBC having the super champion. You know, they just created more of a giant mess between people not understanding or how to follow the sport.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, what do you do if you want to get rid of your Reggie belts? You order the Reggie champion as the mandatory, and you order post bids to happen, or not. You elevate that person to a real champion, or you force them to fight the number 2 guy for the belt. It's that simple. But in other circumstance, sometimes they just elevate them. Sometimes they order the fights and everything. But I think if they've been defending the interim title and everything, they say, hey, let's just give them the belt, the full title as a full title holder and everything. I didn't have a problem with what they gave them giving Sue the title, because he was interim champion and he was defending it and everything. I didn't have tell you the truth, middleweight is a shit show. So
right,
I didn't know what the else you want to do it. What the WBA was going to do. Law fight somebody in the rankings, and they came and make the fight official because of promotional conflicts or something. I don't know. So they it's a complicated situation. But when you got a fight of potentially 2 good fights in the same division happening, maybe 3 and everything, you have to look at, hey, this likely could be Canelo's last contract. But he said, I'm fighting till I'm 35 and everything. But he'll probably do another contract before he retires. But I think that depending on how this goes, if he loses or something in one of these fights, I don't know, but it's questions to be answered. We're not going to know unless the winner of if Sudamar at that fight will go in the ring and say, "Yo, as of right now, I am mandating Canelo Alvarez fighting the winner of David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade next," and go out like that, having negotiations for 90 days, and everything. And tell you the truth, they know that the B side, okay, that was always going to be already going to be guaranteed the upside of $30 million. So why not? And fucking like Moel, he knows he's a B side, like, but people, you got questionably stupid people keep bringing up that David Moel hasn't fought a lot.
There's actually a rumor circulating that he turned down the Dimitri Bivol opportunity. Dimitri Bivol claiming he'll come down to 168, which is a spectacular fight. I don't know anything about it other than it's a rumor. But listen, how did this turn into Canelo versus Morrell? Actually, you're right. This is a perfect time to Chicano Prophet to segue, because I read that the numbers for that Tyson Fury fight in Saudi Arabia versus Ngannou were actually paid. The pay-per-view sales numbers were actually not good at all, like expected. But leave it to Saudi Arabia to not give a shit about whether it's profitable or not, because they're intent on becoming a super power player in the sports world, Drew. If there is a silver lining, I think this might be it, that they're getting some of the best heavyweights in the world to be more active. And this rumor is something that I'm very excited about. We know that Usyk versus Tyson Fury is going to be delayed. The date hasn't been announced. Obviously, Tyson Fury, to have a good chance, is going to have to take some extra time to get in shape, stay in shape, and recuperate and heal. Because honestly, he got dropped by Ngannou. That was the worst performance we've all seen. But today, Drew, you were telling me to read up on this Wilder versus Joshua. It's not Wilder versus Joshua, right? It's Wilder and Joshua on the same card. Two heavyweight stars, two heavyweight former champions, back-to-back, main event. Who knows who's going to be on top? But nonetheless, December 23rd, it's a big weekend. It's Christmas weekend. A lot of people are going to be together with families. Will they have better luck promoting a Wilder and then Joshua on the same card? UK fans, American fans, can they sell this pay-per-view, Drew? And will it lead to Wilder fighting Joshua?
There's a lot of things playing out here. Tell you the truth, nobody's going to, I don't think a lot of people are going to pay on a pay-per-view card with Wilder and Joshua on the same card, not fighting each other.
Well, what if one of the guys, and he's available, what if one of them is Andy Ruiz? Andy Ruiz potentially against Wilder.
But here's the thing. The fight between Wilder and Joshua that's been demanded for years. And it's been wanted for years. And they were undefeated champions and everything. Mm-hmm. But then you look at it, and they both are defeated now. But I look at it like this. Philip Hogative is on that undercard. And he's technically the IBF mandatory. And he was promised the winner of Usyk versus Fury. So if you look at it, the winner of that fight vacates, or, decides not to fight Philip Hogative, gets stripped of it. They'll likely, and then if AJ was to somewhat get past Wylene and everything, because Wylene's number 2 in the rankings, and number 3 is AJ, then they will have a fight with Hogative versus AJ for the world title, which stops that Wilder AJ fight in its tracks. And It's a lot.
They've got to give Anthony Joshua an easy fight. Otherwise, anybody could derail a
This is an
potential
easy
fight.
Dave.
No, you're
Dave,
right.
this-
I mean, Anthony Joshua hasn't looked brilliant despite making all the changes in his training camps and trainers and training here in the U.S. He still doesn't look like the old Anthony Joshua that beat Vladimir Klitschko.
Dave, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he beats Wallin. I'm picking Otto Wallin to beat AJ.
Well, we saw what he did here in Las Vegas during the pandemic. He gave Tyson Fury hell. Entirely possible, right?
Yeah, and I tell people, man, like, and I was talking about this with someone, and I'm like, this is the worst fighter they could possibly pick for AJ to fight is Otto Wallin, because I tell you the truth, he's not known for knocking people out, but Otto can box, and if Otto can catch AJ, surprisingly, he could stop AJ.
As did Andy Ruiz.
And I'm picking Otto Wallin to beat AJ. But I'll be honest, like the Wilder fight is more like the, I don't know, showcase or not, because fucking Joseph Parker's washed up.
Well, I've seen him in some that's still a good name opponent. Guys, by the way, if you haven't hit the like, make sure you know it helps the channel. Hitting that like and leaving a comment after the show, making sure you're subscribed is the best way to help out Drew and I keep this thing going, because there's a lot of times, guys, where we don't feel inspired at all anymore by the sport of boxing, or we feel like, man, the views just aren't adding up. And you guys are the best, most loyal audience. We can't ask for anything more. Just to remember to hit that like button. Drew, I'm excited to see how this card plays out, because for November and a quick turnaround in December, there's some great international fights. Of course, we have the return of Inoue fighting Tapales, and that's for undisputed at 122. That's a great way. Then you got stars like Ryan Garcia potentially getting his ass whooped by this guy, what's his name? That fight early in December that Oscar Duarte. That's shaping up to be a pretty decent December. Shout out to K-Hole and Mom Food. We always appreciate having women in our chat. We got a caller. Let's pick it up as we segue to this week, Thursday night at the T-Mobile Arena. Two champions, Navarrete from Mexico, El Vaquero, and, of course, a vacated belt that Devin Haney got stripped. Devin Haney got stripped, Drew. This belt is up for grabs. This is what I mean. Don't just email Shakur Stevens saying, hey, bro, you got the belt. Let them fight. Let them fight for it. All right. Actually, I think it's our boy, Lukey Boxing, author of Pro Box and, of course, NYFights.com. Lukey, what up, homeboy?
What's up with my guys, man?
I had a chance to watch your podcast. Great stuff as always. Shout out to Dakota. Are you coming to Vegas Thursday night, or are you good for now?
You better believe I'm not. I try my hardest to not go to any fights. And I'd like to be there to see Quentin. And so I think the undercard fights are real good. The whole card's pretty good. Troy Isley versus Vladimir. Brian Norman Jr. versus Quentin Randall, Max Orlenis versus Floyd Cashflow. The two world title fights are good. Navarrete, Cossacow, Stevens. Those are all good fights. So I'm excited. Good. But I hate to say it, but if I'm not getting paid, I don't go to boxing.
Well, there you have it. And I didn't know that they had their
opener. I just don't have that passion.
I hear you, man. By the way, Vladimir Hernandez, shout out to Stockton 209. He's got some pretty good upsets, beating J-Rock, Julian Williams. And even though he's got that record with 5 losses, he's fought some top dogs, including Jesus Ramos Jr., that I remember that fight very well. But I don't know much about his competitor, the opponent. Can you tell us a little bit about Isley?
Hey, Troy, a really good amateur. It was him, Javier Martinez, Joe Hicks Jr. So like the top middleweights of their era. Joe Sean James kind of wasn't in that era, but he should be thrown in that era. He's right up there with them. Truck Simpson was in that era of fighters. Troy was the 2020 Olympian based off of that. He competed internationally in 2019. Pandemic hits, Joe Hicks Jr. The whole Olympics thing around that was awful. So Javier Martinez won the Olympic trials. They go to a training camp. Joe Hicks Jr. randomly wins the training camp along with Andrea Medina over Lupe Gutierrez. Gutierrez and Javier Martinez won the Olympic trials. Troy then ended up being the Olympian. The Olympics at middleweight were pretty bad, but Troy ran into one of the 3 or 4 guys that could really fight. He lost that fight. He's a really good fighter. He's kind of from that Shakur kind of crew. The question has been in his development, is he getting better? He's 25 years old. Sometimes he keeps his hands in his pocket. I see Bomac and Red and that whole crew is working with him now. It's a big step up, so this is kind of like a prospect tester. In the words of Andre Ward, it's a step your game up fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Vladimir Hernandez from the 209. I'm excited about that fight. Of course, this is a fight, like you said, your boy Isley can't afford to lose, but if he does, you're not going to be surprised, right?
He can lose it.
Good. Well, I'm glad.
He
glad
can afford to lose it because he's 25. He's young. Like, guys lose to. This is the first time Troy's fighting a guy who's fought world championship level guys. So this is basically, in my opinion, how good is he? The company's saying, and if he loses, I bet Top Rank probably cuts him. To be honest with you, because I think Top Rank feels they have a lot of mid-tier talent in the middle of their cards. Right. So, I think Norman, Floyd Cashflow, Diaz, and Troy Isley are all in jeopardy of possibly getting cut if they lose their fight.
Wow, I can't imagine Cashflow Diaz getting cut so quickly. But you're absolutely right. Reminds me of what happened with Gabe Flores. Let's get on to this co-main event. It's going to be happening right after NFL Thursday football, and it's actually a really good matchup on paper. Robson Conceicao has already fought the likes of Oscar Valdez, giving Oscar Valdez a hotly contested fight in Arizona. I see our friend K-Hole here.
He should have beat him. He should have. Now, let's just remind everybody, he's a gold medalist. And this reminds me a lot like how there was a gold medalist that fought Ryan Garcia, Drew. Who was that guy? Arguably the best opponent and best win of Ryan Garcia's career ever. Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell.
It was Luke Campbell, and I think it's Ryan Garcia's best win. There's other gold medalists on the Top Rank stable, including Robeisy Ramirez, that actually beat Shakur Stevenson convincingly in the amateurs, right? Does that amount to shit that he's a gold medalist?
It wasn't all that. Like, I wouldn't say. Yeah, he's a gold medalist. But I wouldn't say it was like convincingly. It was like one of those things where he did just enough, and it was like really tense, crappy fight that like people rewatch and act like it was good. So sometimes the gold medal fight is the worst fight,
We know Robson Conceicao can box enough to be a gold medalist. But I'm gonna ask Drew first. Now, Chicano, I think, might have been at that fight against Oscar Valdez. It was a great fight in the Phoenix, Arizona casinos. Can he pull off an upset and outbox Navarrete, Drew, with Navarrete's crazy, unconventional style that he always seems to pull off the victory? He's only got one loss that everyone's forgotten about. Can he pull off a boxing clinic?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You wouldn't be surprised. Based on what?
Based on that Navarrete, has been able to get hit, and he's been hurt. And thing about it is, if he can get hit, Navarrete, and everything, I believe the box, he could be outboxed. So, yeah. I believe if you can get hit, you can get outboxed. It depends on the fighter. I wouldn't be surprised. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
All right. I'll ask the same thing to you, Lukey. Can he pull off a boxing clinic on one of the most unconventional champions we've seen in recent memory?
It's hard to believe Navarrete would lose this, but I'm pulling for Conceicao, or however you say his name, because look, he's always in shape and professional, which is something you can't say about Navarrete. Navarrete, like, if he misses weight at the scale, would that shock anyone? It would shock people if Konsakow didn't make weight. Konsakow has had a guy test positive for PEDs, have to fight him. Had a guy miss weight, have to fight him. Oh, those are his only 2 world title shots. They both had buffoonery and nonsense associated with them. I believe it took him 3 times to win an Olympic gold medal. This is his 3rd world title. Hope to God Navarrete doesn't miss weight, but given his trend, Navarrete will do something stupid because Navarrete does do stupid stuff, and Conceição seems to always end up in stupid situations. I mean, I think that this is kind of like Benavidez Andrade, where it's like I see Conceição probably having success 4 rounds or so. But it's just about the reckless pressure. Navarrete hits very, very hard, and his skills are like jumping with an uppercut from across the ring and hitting you with it.
Right.
It's not what I teach a 12-year-old, but there is a talent component to it. It's kind of amazing to me that he keeps winning. I feel like there's something we're not seeing because I don't feel like he lives the sport. And I feel like at one point Navarrete is just going to get old overnight.
Father time.
I'm saying a lot of words to say nothing,
Well,
but I don't know if it's this one. I don't know if it's this one, but I know it's going to happen. I think that both of the 2 main card fights are real fights. I think that this is like a 60-40 Navarrete fight. But, I mean, Kosakow's in the fight because he's a professional. Look at his body. He looks like me. We're jacked. Girls like us. And you got Navarrete, would we be shocked if he weighs in at 133 and doesn't care and just says, I won't make the weight? So, I mean, to me, that's the story of the fight is you got a true professional taking on a guy that's just kind of like on some fuck it shit. So, wow, that's how I see it.
How does this fight end for Navarrete?
He's probably going to win a decision.
He wins a decision. Okay, not a stoppage. I'm concerned Conceição doesn't. He's such an incredible athlete, though, but I don't think he has enough pop to get the respect of Navarrete. That could be totally. I could be misled because we saw the Australian guy who they fought for the vacated title that Shakur gave up. We saw that guy drop him, hurt him, almost finish him. But I think ultimately Navarrete's got this one. It's going to be a tough fight. He's looked bad.
Conceição hits harder though.
He looked bad against Diaz, the Puerto Rican fighter. I thought Diaz gave him a hell of a fight at 126. And I think that this is a fight that Navarrete could potentially look poor in again, but still pull off the victory. But you bring up something interesting to Lukey is that you're right. I never know when Navarrete missing weight. He might lose the title on the scale again and be like, well, I don't give a shit because guess what? I'm going to win this fight regardless of the weight, and then I'm going to line up a big fight with Shakur Stevenson because I don't think he'll be afraid to fight
He's
Shakur.
already calling out. He's already calling out Shakur.
So there
which
you have
if you're going to bet on this fight, you love to hear that because, it's like, I know you guys have probably already talked about Shakur's fight, but it's like Shakur's in a real trap fight because this kid can really, really fight that he's fighting. Nobody's acting like the guy's good at all, and he punches really hard. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage. He's probably the biggest physical guy he's ever been in the ring with. Oh, and everyone just wants to ask him about Devin Haney all week.
Right. Let's talk about it. Let's move on. Let's move on to the main event because I think you're right. De Los Santos isn't getting the respect he deserves. Very few people are saying the praise that you are, but he finished Rayo Valenzuela in 3 rounds.
Fight.
Yes, he could fight.
Well, but let me paint a picture that you guys already know. Drew knows, and already know this. He loses to William Foster III, right? And William can fight. And William beat him outright on ShowBox in January of 2022, and it was a good fight, right? But he jumps in with Luis Acosta right after that, undefeated guy, knocks him out in 2-3 rounds. Jumps in with Rayo, knocks him out. Jumps in with Joseph Adorno. These are after a split decision fight. He's only gone 48 rounds as a professional because of his power. But I think most impressively to me is he loses a split decision. And then what's his mindset? Throw me in with the most dangerous, highest ranked opponents I can get. So to me, that shows that this is someone who mentally, when the world doubted him, he actually got stronger. He beat Ryo as an 8-1 underdog. I want to say he's the exact same underdog coming into this. If anything, this is a familiar and fond memory for him. He likes this position. It seems like he struggled when he fought William Foster because he was the A side. Seems like he doesn't perform as well when the expectation is on him.
Interesting you bring up that he fights even better as the underdog. Here he finds himself clearly as the underdog, but he is the heaviest puncher. I think Shakur Stevenson, we've seen him fight professionally now at 135. It's not going to be an easy fight, but the key to victory, I see the key to victory here. His only chance is to starting off hot and starting off fast and furious against Shakur and not letting Shakur mentally get the data, collect the data he needs, start off aggressive as he did in that fight like Ryo and other fights. I think it's his only chance to get in this fight, because if he allows Shakur to set the tempo, do you honestly think that he can out punch a counter puncher like on Shakur's level? You know, I know his stats. Shakur's got some of the best stats.
Shakur is going to be the one at the reach disadvantage. So Shakur is going to have to bridge that gap and force him to miss and then throw after and create opportunities to punch with him and exchange with him. Edwin De Los Santos has 2-inch reach advantage over him. That's something. Now, I get Herring had 4-inch reach, Konsekow, but he hits a lot harder than those guys. So what that tells me is it's a southpaw who has a reach advantage, who will get opportunities to land big shots on him. Now, what he does with that, I don't know, but keep in mind that, like, when Nakatila landed on Shakur Stevenson, Shakur did not, respond and enjoy that power, if you remember that. Like, he started reacting like, whoa, this guy can punch. I'm a little curious to see how these exchanges look, because I think that there's going to be moments. This fight's very competitive.
Well, what's going on in the gym rumors? I'm hearing that he was hurt by Paro, his sparring partner. William Paro may have knocked him out, and that he was pieced up by a secondary sparring partner. Is there any truth to that? Does it even matter? It makes it seem.
Wait, which guy are we saying?
That Shakur Stevenson was dropped recently in sparring?
I don't know, but sparring, I'd much rather have a fighter who's getting dropped in sparring, because that tells me they're getting the sparring they need for a championship fight.
That's right. Okay.
This is the thing, man. There's these guys that are sparring John the janitor and Tom the AC guy and all this stuff, and they go into a world title fight and they get beat up by a guy who ate a hot dog and drank a Diet Coke. If I'm coaching,
which is what I
a great fighter.
By the way, that's what I get at Costco each and every time.
Yeah, so if I'm coaching a great fighter, and the great fighter, I say only use your jab, and let's just work on jab and catching some shots and counterpunching. Well, some days there's going to be a guy who's doing everything they can do, and you're only compromised to certain things. You're going to get beat up. That just comes with the game. I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't ever listen to oh my God, because it's never, whenever you hear stories, someone got the better, there's always more to it, right? It's never oh man, let's just see who's better. It's always so-and-so was working defense and the other guy got to do whatever he wanted. He caught him cold. So I don't, because the guys that always sparred good in my experience, you never want to be the guy that's oh, I hurt everybody in the gym, because those guys typically lose to everybody on fight night. I've been in boxing gyms about 23 years, 24 maybe longer actually, maybe 25. But I've never seen a guy that's the guy that was putting it on everybody in the gym and all that. And then on fight night, those guys typically lose to guys that are journeyman pros. So I don't really Miguel Cotto sparred bad. He sparred bad.
Let me go with
Fought
Drew.
real good.
Let me go with Drew's thoughts on this fight. Drew, De Los Santos is the underdog. Lukey mentioned he fights best as the underdog. But he's got some impressive wins after losing to this William Foster, a Connecticut fighter, a club fighter on Showbox. He's been on an undefeated streak, Drew, and he has wins against Rayo Valenzuela, which was once a highly touted prospect contender at 135. I remember thinking Rayo was going to be championship material, and he gets smoked in a dogfight against De Los Santos. And then De Los Santos goes the distance with Pennsylvania's Adorno. But a very good fight. And we know Adorno can fight and box. Do you see De Los Santos having a chance here?
A little bit of a chance.
Enough that you would lay some money down on De Los Santos?
No, not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, someone said today, I was watching a podcast, said, well, I'm a betting man, so I can't go that far. I'm not going to lay money down on De Los Santos, but man, I think he is being underestimated here. And if he gets a hot start, can he pull off an upset? Can he potentially hurt Shakur, or is Shakur just too damn good defensively, Drew?
It really depends on what kind of Skakur Stevenson we get. Do we get the one we've been getting lately? Or are we going back to defensive and born Skakur Stevenson? Like, if he goes back to born Skakur Stevenson, then you're going to see a snoozer and you're going to see Shakur get the decision.
Yeah.
But if you see Shakur Stevenson be more of the aggressor and everything, he has a little bit of a chance. So
he gives De Los Santos an opportunity to land, right?
You're always going to have an opportunity to land when you're fighting someone that is aggressive. But the only thing is, you're putting risk out. You're putting yourself at risk too, because if you try to punch with the dude and you get caught, you're going down most likely.
Yeah,
or you're just taking a bad shot.
That's what we saw against Rayo Valenzuela in that PBC fight. A shout out to my homeboy Ron B. Nice to see you, Ron. Thanks for coming in here. The shoe shine. Appreciate you being in here. Drew, ultimately, you got to lay money on it. How you see this fight, the conclusion of this fight on Thursday night, F1 Formula Week in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile. How does Drew lay his money down on this? Decision, KO?
I would go decision. I don't think he KOs him, but this could possibly be a 9-3 fight.
9-3 fight. And I was going to say, Lukey, has Shakur Stevenson lost any rounds in recent memory?
I think that people gave Valdez one round.
Okay. I was at that fight.
In that fight. I mean, look, the Shakur is so good. Like, this is how good Shakur is. He's fighting for his third division world title in 21 fights, and he seemingly hasn't really lost a round outside of one round to Joet Gonzalez when he took the round off and a few other things. Like,
that's years back in Reno. Wow.
Young fighters. Yeah, most young fighters face adversities, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes people think Shakur is the future pound-for-pound number one guy is, like, these adversities most people face. It's kind of like Boots Ennis, right? That's, like, why Shakur and Boots are, like, popular picks. They haven't really faced adversity, and they're fighting all the really good fighters, or the good fighters they'll fight. And it kind of makes you wonder if, like, the other really good fighters are just kind of strategically prolonging fighting them. Like, oh man, not just yet. Like, because you always get moron guy come out of the woodwork and he'll be like, oh, Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis shouldn't fight yet. We should wait 5 years because it'll make more. And it's like, well, what if they're just two really relevant prospects? Like, should Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard not have fought at 22? Like, come on, idiot guy, go back to the woodwork and go back to being an idiot at your, like, Amazon or whatever job. But
nothing wrong working at Amazon.
Like, either the guys, nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying that there tends to be a correlation right there, you know.
Yeah.
The guy that's like the checkout ticket guy is the guy that's also telling you business advice.
I tell you what stocks
But
to pick.
it's just a correlation I've seen is like the guys on the internet telling me about the boxing business and what best to do are also the guys that check my ticket when I go to Walmart. And I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, I saw your video. I liked it. I was the guy that gave you business advice about fights and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, these are the best guys.
Lukey,
I'm rambling, but these are the best guys.
You got to pick. You got to pick. Is it Shakur Stevenson by decision, by stoppage? Is it De Los Santos pulling an upset by KO?
I mean, I would throw $10 on De Los Santos just because, he's so friggin' good and he's being undervalued. But I don't think there's a stoppage in this fight, and I don't think there's a stoppage in the Navarrete fight. But if you're talking me, if you want me to bet, I'll give you the bet right now for the shoe shine.
All right, let's hear it.
I'd bet on Quentin Randall. Vladimir Hernandez, and Max Orleans in a three-person parlay with whatever you feel comfortable, 10, 15, 20. It's probably going to, that bet, if it hits, will probably land you over $1,000, if not more.
I love that. Who doesn't love a parlay?
That are all very winnable.
Who doesn't like a great parlay?
And then if you want to be safe, throw in your favorite main event fighter. So, okay, parlay it and throw your favorite main event fighter that you think's going to win. And there you go.
Well, I definitely think Navarrete wins. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys. I definitely think Shakur Stevenson is ultimately going to take over the 135-pound division today. Drew, I think I sent you a video, which is a ProBox video. And I Lukey writes for ProBox. Shout out to Lukey for writing for ProBox. I love that video because Tim Bradley, Paulie Malignaggi, and Chris Algieri debated their top three lightweights, and they all had Shakur Stevenson on top, and respectively had some of them had Lomachenko at number 2, and Gervonta Tank Davis cracked the list. I think those are all great names to be on my top 3. This fight, Shakur Stevenson wins by decision comfortably, but I won't be afraid to say it. Drew, we may see Shakur Stevenson get dropped for the very first time in his professional career. Something that even Ryan Garcia, we saw him get dropped against the gold medalist. Excuse me, that earlier we were talking about. Shakur Stevenson gets tested in this fight. He gets tested. We could see a 10-8 round, or we could see him seriously get rocked and have to, really dig deep to find himself overcoming that challenge in there mentally and winning ultimately that decision. But I think he prevails and becomes a, third division champion in 3 weight classes and 21 fights, an outstanding achievement. And then we get to see him fight all these other young bloods. And maybe we'll get to see that Gervonta Tank Davis fight against Shakur. Maybe we'll get to see other big name. Maybe we'll get to see Lomachenko get another opportunity. I love it. Hey, Lukey, I appreciate you coming on the show today. We're going to be wrapping it up just momentarily. Everybody, it's Christmas time. Hook up our boy inside the ropes of boxing, Lucas Cattell. He's also on YouTube. He has his own YouTube channel, and he does a great podcast. And he writes on ProBox, like I said, and he writes on nyfights.com. So if you want to get a sports fan a great gift, it's on Amazon, Inside the Ropes of Boxing. Drew, that's not all there is, man. There's a guy that I'm watching, super middleweight prospect, maybe contender now, guys, and that's Diego Pacheco, who signed, Diego Pacheco, it outstands me that he is not signed by Oscar De La Hoya. How did Oscar not get this kid from California signed to Golden Boy? How did Eddie Hearn make that happen? Diego Pacheco's fighting Saturday in Inglewood at the YouTube theater or whatnot. This kid is a future star, in my opinion, Drew. 6'4" super middleweight, outstanding. But Eddie Hearn says that he's going to have a tremendous 2024. He has a real challenge against him. This Saturday night, Drew, he's going to fight the guy that almost knocked out Edgar Berlanga, an Argentinian fighter. He's got 5 losses, hits hard as hell, very durable. Like I said, he almost knocked out Edgar Berlanga and finished him. That's the one guy who dropped him in recent memory. He's got some notable names on him. Do you see Diego Pacheco finishing this guy, making a statement?
Yeah, I see him knocking him out.
Because
I don't think it lasts as 5 rounds.
6'4", there's only so much time this guy is going to be sticking around at super middleweight at 168. Although it looks like he's still making it very comfortably. He's young, He's ridiculously tall. Like Fundora at 155 is ridiculously tall. I think this is a guy that the faster they move him up, the better, Drew, because he should be calling for a fight with Berlanga. Yeah, Berlanga's chasing that Jaime Munguia one because Jaime Munguia has a bigger name, or he's chasing Canelo. But this cat right here needs to be calling out Berlanga and ending that, BS facade that he's a contender. He should be calling out guys on Matchroom. He is a Matchroom fighter.
Yeah, but if you look at it like this, I think Eddie will try to avoid that fight because you look at it.
Berlanga's a moneymaker.
He's somewhat like Berlanga can make him money in New York.
That's true.
So,
That's true. You're right, man. You're thinking business. I'm thinking let's just get rid of the dead weight around here. But no, he signed Edgar Berlanga with the intent of cashing out on him.
Yeah, I hope he tell you the truth. I would agree with him cashing out, but I'm just giving a reason why he wouldn't cash him out and everything. Like, tell you the truth, I think if you look at it, I think the only way he'll cash him out, he lets him fight Jaime Munguia. So, I don't know. It's just right now, he don't really have a lot of money-making guys on his stable now. So.
Yeah, and there's so much interesting stuff that's unfolding in the world of boxing. Some of it, we say that boxing is on its lifeline, and sometimes it's hard for me to even be motivated to keep doing this show. I see other people have so much success on YouTube doing their shows, Drew, and I'm like, well, what are we doing wrong? Like, I always think, what are we doing wrong? But you know what? It's the audience that keeps Drew and I going. I am going to be enjoying the boxing fights. I'm going to see David Benavidez my first time. I chose to see him. I've seen Shakur fight 3 times already. Seen enough of that. I'll kick back Thursday, and I'll just enjoy it here. Maybe we'll do a watch party, Drew. Maybe if you're awake, if you want to watch it, maybe we'll do a watch party, live reaction video or something. But this Wednesday, we're going back to talk about football. Drew has his new power rankings. I think things have been shaken up. The Eagles are on rest. And by the way, the 49ers absolutely demolished. And I barely even bragged on Twitter, on X. I didn't even, you know what? Where was Johnny Savage with his big bet? With his big, exactly. Anybody choked, Johnny. It was the Jaguars. Choked.
Yeah, they were just frauds.
My God. Got your ass whooped. Wednesday night, tailgate talk, 7:30 p.m. Also, Wednesday afternoon, Drew, I forgot to tell you, but Joe Habib, ringside reporter, asked me, they're going to be doing a special show. The roundtable's on Wednesday this week. I agreed to be on it. I'm looking forward to that, talking about more in depth about De Los Santos, Navarrete fight, of course. Maybe I'll wear my cowboy hat. Don't miss the roundtable on the ringside reporter with Joe Habib at Wednesday, I think at 4 o'clock. I'll be on that, and then we'll do our football talk. Watch some main event ESPN action on Thursday night, and then all hell breaks loose on the streets of Vegas as Formula One gets underway. Should I take my car on the Formula One? I heard it's a parking lot out there, Drew, but I wouldn't mind revving my engine and making a video. Let me know what you guys think. Should I get out there on the track, on the Formula One racetrack before they shut it down? I'm thinking about it. Let me know. Comment on that after that. Drew, final thoughts, man. Good weekend of football, boxing. Shit, we didn't even do I didn't even talk about any boxing this weekend that we saw.
Tell you the truth, I just had that little debate showing that the dude don't know shit and everything. So, I'll be honest, man. He's probably, I don't give a fuck at the end of the day. But
at the end of the day, Drew don't give a
fuck. But like on some serious shit, like if you're gonna debate about the sport of boxing, at least know what the fuck you're talking about. Like seriously, like shout out to Beeb and everything. It's one of the only other boxing content that I watch. I don't watch a lot of boxing content, to be honest with you guys. It just got sour on me and everything because a lot of the content creators like really just try to fanboy, try to dick ride and everything, man. and you're not getting knowledge and everything. And I just get bored of watching them after a while. Like for the ones that I watch, like Maestro with Mato Imato, Chicano with El Chile, and Joe Beeb, Ringside Reporter, they're probably the only 3 ones I watch. I watch a couple more here and there because they always show me respect and everything. And there's some I haven't watched yet, but I'm probably not going to waste my time in watching them. And I think so I'm probably going to get the same result as the others that I see. And
There's only so much time in the day. I appreciate all the YouTube content creators out there doing their thing. Respect to all of y'all. Drew, Evo, and I will keep on grinding. Next Monday night, be back for the shoe shine. Like I said, keep posted. Make sure you're subscribed because we might do a watch party on Thursday night here from Las Vegas. And, of course, we have football talk this Wednesday night, Tailgate Talk. I'm Dave in the 702. Drew, I'll see you Wednesday night, homie. Peace out.
See ya.
See ya.